The night I almost walked away from my job became the night that changed my life forever, and I didn't even realize it until much later, when the woman I thought I'd saved finally told me she'd been saving me all along. I wasn't supposed to be there. That's what kept echoing in my head as I stood across the street from the restaurant, watching my CEO sit at a candlelit table with a man who was already talking too loudly, leaning too close, and checking his phone every 30 seconds. I told myself I should leave. I told myself it wasn't my place. But when her smile tightened in that polite, professional way she used in board meetings, not on dates, I knew I couldn't walk away. Something in my chest refused to let me. I worked as her executive assistant, the invisible glue holding together impossible schedules and last-minute crises. She was brilliant, composed, and untouchable, or so everyone thought. To me, she was human in small, quiet ways, how she sighed when she thought no one was listening, how she drank her coffee too fast on stressful mornings, how she trusted me with details she shared with no one else. I admired her deeply, carefully, from a distance I never crossed. Loving your CEO was a mistake you didn't survive. That night, I was only supposed to drop off a file she'd forgotten. I told myself that's why I was there. But when I saw her flinch as her date laughed at his own joke, something protective surged through me. Before I could overthink it, I walked into the restaurant. I interrupted with an apology and a lie so smooth it scared me. Emergency at the office. The board needed her. Now. Her eyes met mine, surprised, then relieved. She stood instantly, grabbed her coat, and followed me out without question. The man protested, offended, confused, but she didn't look back. Outside, the city air felt heavier. She laughed once, breathless, then stopped, suddenly serious. You didn't have to do that, she said softly. I wanted to, I replied before I could stop myself. We stood there in silence, the kind that says more than words. She thanked me, told me she'd see me in the morning, and left in her car. I watched the taillights disappear, my heart pounding with something I couldn't name. The next weeks were strange. She was warmer with me, quieter with everyone else. Sometimes I caught her looking at me like she was about to say something and thought better of it. I told myself it was nothing. I buried myself in work. Then came the crisis. A hostile takeover threat, a brutal board meeting, endless nights. She worked herself to exhaustion, and I stayed right beside her. One night, she finally broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just tears slipping down as she stared at financial projections she couldn't control. I handed her a tissue. She laughed weakly. You always know what I need before I ask. The words hit harder than she knew. That night, as I walked her to her car, she stopped me. Why did you really save me that night? She asked. I froze. There were 100 answers I couldn't say. So I chose the safest truth. Because you deserved better. She nodded, eyes shining, and drove away. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Everything shifted the day she asked me to dinner. Not a meeting. Not a work event. Just dinner. My heart said yes before my brain could catch up. The second night changed everything, and this time, I was the one who needed saving. I sat across from her at a quiet place she'd chosen, hands clenched, heart racing, convinced I was about to lose everything. She looked different out of the office, softer, freer, and when she smiled at me, it wasn't the CEO smile. It was real. I never thanked you properly, she began. Not just for that night. For everything. I tried to deflect, joke, downplay my role. She stopped me with a look. You don't see it, do you? See what? How much you matter. To me. The words hung between us, fragile and powerful. I felt the ground shift. I don't want to misunderstand, I said carefully. She reached across the table, her hand brushing mine. I fell in love with you long before that date, she confessed. That night just made me brave enough to admit it. My breath caught. All this time, I'd been protecting my heart, thinking I was alone in it. I told her the truth then, about my feelings, my fear, my silence. I told her I never thought someone like her could love someone like me. She smiled through tears. You saved me from a terrible date, she said. But more than that, you saved me from believing I had to face life alone. We talked for hours, about boundaries, fears, risks. Love didn't erase reality, but it made it worth facing together. Months later, people would whisper, speculate, judge. But what they didn't see was the partnership built on respect, honesty, and quiet moments of understanding. What they didn't know was that love doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits patiently, hoping you'll be brave enough to see it. I thought I saved my CEO that night. The truth is, she saved me too, from a life lived in silence, from a heart that was afraid to hope. And if there's one thing I learned, it's this: the most powerful connections are often the ones we never plan, but choose when the moment finally asks us to be honest.